that more people deal with than you think. A new study says 1 in 5 workers here in the U.S. are exposed to this. A hostile work environment could mean anything from verbal abuse, unwanted sexual attention, threats, or humiliating behavior. Career advisor and leadership expert Tracey C. is here to talk more about this. So many people excuse their boss's tough boss behavior as being normal. You say that's not okay.
It's not. And the real differentiation is my boss being tough, or are they being a bully? And a tough boss is going to expose you to constructive criticism.
Okay.
The bullying boss is going in for destructive criticism. So it really is in the motive of the boss. The tough boss is going to break you down to build you up.
Okay.
But a bullying boss is going to break you down to see you crumble. So it's about whether they want to inspire you or whether they want to intimidate you. Obviously, in that video that we saw earlier, that was awesome. But a bullying boss will do that. They'll scream at you. They'll humiliate you. They'll withhold information. They'll set you up. And if you don't follow what they want, they will go out to get you. But a tough boss is just going to ensure that you follow the standards, that you become the best version of yourself, that you show up for work on time. So a lot of times when people go, my boss is so this, I'm like, but are they expecting you to be self-aware and in self-control and self-discipline and to be a better person? If so, and you trust them, then that's not a bully boss, that's just a tough boss. And the tough bosses make us better.
You go in and train some managers and high-level people in businesses. Do you think they're aware at how much of an influence they have on their workers?
Probably not. And listen, I've been leading people since I got my work release papers 40 years ago. I think it's a work in progress. We start out, we don't know what we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So you talked earlier about if you encounter some behavior from your boss that's on the threshold, have enough self-worth to go to them and say, hey, do you know, I know what you were trying to do, but you came across as a real you-know-what.
Right.
Okay? And I've had some people, when I was a junior officer, I was in the Air Force,
yes.
I tried to act all, officery, and I had some of my folks come to me and say, hey, we know what you're trying to do, but your way of doing it is completely unacceptable. And I was so thankful. Now, if you come to your boss and say, hey, you've passed the threshold,
right,
one or two things is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
They are either going to go, you know what? Thank you. I didn't know. I'm a junior officer. I'm green. I'm a new manager. I was once your coworker. Now I'm your boss. And I'm trying to figure out what the levels are.
Gotcha.
And every day we learn. Or the other thing is they're going to be like, really, Lauren? Now I'm going to get you.
Yes.
And it's going to be very obvious if they're going to do that or not.
And a lot of people are scared to have those conversations because it's the boss and they get afraid. You have to.
Try and always resolve it at the lowest level. Sooner or later, you're going to be sitting across the table talking to that bully boss, either with HR or with legal or whoever. So you always want to give them the opportunity to correct their behavior, and it makes you look like a professional. Because the first thing that happens if you don't tell your bully boss, hey, know your self-worth, and know that there's some things you probably need to change too, but then you go to them and say, hey, this is going to stop. That makes you look like such a professional, because when you do use the chain and go up to HR or their boss, first thing they're going to say is, well, did you talk to them about it? No. And then it looks like you're part of the problem.
Right. So don't be like a tattletale.
Exactly.
Just
and don't
deal
be a
with
victim.
it. Right.
Right.
Okay. You have a new book, and you're speaking directly to millennials. Why millennials, and what's your message to them?
My message to millennials is the greatest way to become a leader is to become an exemplary follower. And the reason I wrote the book is because I had so many millennials come up to me and they're like, Tracey, I want to be a tremendous leader. And I'm like, that's incredible, because we need you, because we want to bring you up. And the best way you can do that is to become self-aware, self-disciplined. Don't be afraid of failing. Have a tremendous sense of enthusiasm. Know what kind of a follower you are, and seek out your talents and find those bosses that can really encourage that. And that's the best way to do it.
I love that your message is to be a good leader. You have to be a good follower, because we always hear in life, like, don't follow, lead.
No, I know.
But you have to follow to learn how to lead, right?
You have to. It's not a subordinate term. It's not a derogatory term. Followership is the greatest thing, because the more you climb the ladder, you're going to be flipping back and forth between leader and follower. And that shows that you are humble and you're teachable. And if you're not those things, you're never going to be a leader.
I love your message.
Thank you, Lauren.
Thanks for driving 2 hours to come hang out with us this morning.
My pleasure.
We appreciate it. All right.